Well, one of the great pleasures I have as village president is to be part of a celebration like this and have the opportunity to recognize and honor on behalf of the village board a member of our community who has contributed to making McFarland a better place to live. The Citizen of the Year event aims to highlight and acknowledge the exemplary dedication to service by a volunteer who has made outstanding contributions to our community. It has been said that success in life has nothing to do with what you gain in life or what you accomplish for yourself. It's what you do for others. Jane's selection as Citizen of the Year for 2014 recognizes her many contributions to the community, including co-authoring the book City of the Second Lake, History of McFarland, an involvement with the McFarland Historical Society, chairing the Larson House Planning Committee, her work to preserve and restore Native Indian mounds, and serving on the McFarland Library Board, just to name a few. Jane, like the citizens of the year before her, has set an inspiring example by contributing her efforts, skills, and knowledge to improving our quality of life in McFarland. So Jane, on behalf of the village board, I would like to present to you this proclamation, which was issued on Monday, March 31st, and to say thank you for all you have done for McFarland and to congratulate you on this prestigious award of being named Citizen of the Year.
And now, Representative Rob Call, would you come up, please?
Thank you. This is my second year coming here to this event, and it's one that my wife and I actually came here last year, really look forward to, because it's a great way to learn about the community, because you learn about its citizens, and obviously this being the Citizen of the Year. But I've known Jane longer, she just doesn't know it. I've been practicing law in Dane County since 1997, and a big part of my practice is real estate. And when I started, partners to help you learn, give you a couple of transactions, etc., and I want you to learn on your own. And what I remember to this day, one of the partners said is, you will find that in Dane County, we've got a very helpful Register of Deeds. Their office is always responsive, will help you with things, etc. And he said, it wasn't always like that. This was 1997, I think, so you'd been there less than 10 years. But what Jane did as a public servant, came in and turned around that office, and she maybe not will say that publicly, pat herself on the back, but I could tell her the attorneys in Dane County credit her with some of the significant advancements, not just here in Dane County, but she pushed those statewide. And now I've got a real estate title and escrow office, in addition to my law practice here in Dane County. I had that for 10 years. And the seeds she planted and the things she did there as a public servant have continued to grow. And it's still a great office to work with. Frankly, there's 72 counties. They're not all that great when we have to deal with them. And a lot of times if we have an issue or question in a different county, we lean on some of the folks in the Dane County Register of Deeds office to help us. And I just point that out because as a public official, it's not always easy. Wes had to make sacrifices, your children had to make sacrifices, you put a lot into it. I can tell you, having come off this recent legislative session, being in the minority party up till 4 in the morning our last day, hitting the no button a lot on a lot of really bad votes, you can start to question your sanity of why you do things. Spending time away from me, my wife and 4 kids. But it's because you can see some of the positive results and the things, the impacts, the positive impacts you can have on people's lives. And what we saw here with this slide presentation, what a lot of us already knew, but a lot of us learned about Jane, is that's the kind of person she is. Had a positive impact in the classroom, in her own family's lives, and obviously here in the McFarland Dunn community, in the greater Dane County community through her Register of Deeds service. it's an honor for me to represent Jane and Wes in the state legislature, in the entire village of McFarland, town of Dunn. It's really been an honor and a pleasure to come to now the second year here to learn about great people here that have built this community and make it great. And you know, for me, it's an inspiration to keep going out and doing it myself. And as a little reminder, we start circulating nomination papers April 15th, tax day. So that all starts up again, and I know Jane had to do that almost 20 years when it was registered of deed herself. And for her to give that sacrifice and that commitment above and beyond what is expected of people, and now to see what she's doing here at the Larson House, etc. I was just down here a couple weeks ago to deliver a proclamation to the Historical Society. And I'm back down in McFarland in a couple of days for a different meeting. It'll feel odd to be driving here without a proclamation for Jane and Wes. It's become the norm now. I'll be looking at my blank passenger seat wondering what I've done wrong with not having a proclamation. But I'll be back here in May. I know we're going to have a grand opening for the Larson House, and it's a significant accomplishment. It's quite a task in a very quick timeline. Very impressive. So I've got a proclamation here. Senator Miller could not make it tonight, but he and I both put this forward. And I'm not going to read the whole thing. I know that we want to spend some time listening to what Jane's got to say. But needless to say, it repeats a lot of what you've heard here today, which, frankly, we could have gone on and on. This could be a 3-page proclamation, given the accomplishments of Jane's professional and personal life. But needless to say, it's a very proud moment for me as your state representative, and I know for Mark too, to put this together, have this delivered. And I wish you all the best, and congratulations on being Citizen of the Year.
Tim Neuenschwander, the Chamber President, is coming up. Sarah, did you want to make some comments? Should we have her do that before you give your presentation?
You tell me.
Okay,
You want to go first? You want me to
I'll go.
I think that would be a good idea.
Okay. First of all, I'm sure I'm not the first person to realize this, but how wonderful is it that we get to honor somebody and find out about the many facets of their life before we're sitting there at the funeral. I mean, I sort of think, my gosh, if we can all have an opportunity to be, Citizen of the Year, Citizen of the whatever, so we can learn about people. I've learned stuff that I didn't know, like the puppets. If anyone knows me, I do enjoy puppets, and I happen to have some here tonight. I never knew that you did puppet shows. you never mentioned it. So funny. So, okay, when I was thinking about coming to be here and what could I say, I realized that I had this perception that I've been carrying. It's kind of like the wounded teenager relationship with my mom that I just never could heal. And having this opportunity to reflect, I found out that I've just been a little bit not so bright and seeing something, because what my feeling is that, well, I connect with my dad, but I just don't really understand my mom. We just don't have that much in common. And then I realized, finally, thank you, that some of the attributes in myself that I value the most are due to my mother, living them as an example. So some of these are, she showed me that it's okay to be different, how to live outside of the box. I thought I was being neglected because she wasn't cooking meals and doting on me, and she was just doing her life and being independent, running for office, all these things. She showed me, and by example, it's okay to know what you know. It's okay to have a voice. It's okay to communicate your opinions. And that probably didn't make her life very easy, having two daughters who felt free to communicate their opinions and were very independent. She taught me by example what it looks like to be a strong woman. She has a willingness to be stern when it's appropriate. She showed me what it looks like to have personal boundaries. What an example of what it looks like to be a contribution to your community. My mom showed me what it looks like to appreciate and cultivate friendships that last for years. She taught me by example and by guidance how to appreciate nature, how to be kind and compassionate to animals. Without her guidance, I don't know if we would have really gotten it right. You know, there's a few cats. She had to show us how to be kind to cats. It doesn't always come natural for kids. And she really was an example of how much fun you can have with children, and that teaching and learning is fun, and you don't need to stop doing that ever in your life. She has a willingness to be wrong and the ability to say, oops, I made a mistake. And that is such a gift as an example. And just realizing, oh my gosh, my parents are people. She has a tremendous capacity to forgive. So the qualities of strength, independence, perseverance, and that this quality, I could only sum it up as roll up your sleeves and just do the work that you need to do. Those are great gifts. So, and finally, I'm 43, and I finally, you know, just thought, oh my gosh, you know, I'm just not really that bright in some ways, and I'm just now realizing that I do have so much in common with you. And I really appreciate your qualities, and by being true to yourself and what you want to follow, and not by just following what I thought exactly a mother should be like, you actually gave me everything that I really needed. So thank you.
Rest assured, Sarah, you weren't the only one surprised to hear about the puppets. So I do think we have our entertainment for next year booked. In all seriousness, Jane, it is an honor to be up here tonight, to have a privilege to present to you this award. As outlined by all the individuals before me, McFarland would not be what it is today without your efforts. Evident of every Citizen of the Year that we've been able to honor up here, you are the 27th person to receive this award, and you exemplify what makes our community strong and what ensures that we'll have a great future ahead of us. So, on behalf of the McFarland Chamber of Commerce, Jane, I would like to present to you the plaque for the 2014 Citizen of the Year.
Wow. Well, first of all, thanks to the McFarland Chamber of Commerce and to Meg Nielsen for nominating me, and to Judy St. Clair and her daughter for creating the PowerPoint presentation, to Glenn Nielsen and his talented musicians for providing the lovely music. And I'm so glad that my family is able to share this evening. Rachel all the way from Woodbury, Minnesota, Rachel Audie Davis, and Sarah Licht from Florida, and she came back early just for this, and Sean Wilson and Katie Licht and their two fine sons, Liam and Finn, and to all of my many friends and people, it's just so overwhelming to look out and see all these friendly faces and realize this whole dinner is just made up of, good friends. So it's wonderful. Thanks especially to my partner and my best friend, Wes Licht, who maybe should be up here. He certainly looks good tonight, doesn't he? He's always
You're not
Well, as you can see by the presentation, there are quite a few things that I am very passionate about, and probably it was my role as chair of the Larson House Planning Committee that drew the attention of the Chamber of Commerce. And by the way, the grand opening is the 24th and 25th of May from 1 to 4, and you're all invited, so that would be great. I suppose I'm supposed to say something profound at this point. And the first thing I want to say is that whatever gifts and talents I have to offer this world is because of the grace of God for giving me a healthy body and wonderful parents. Elvin and Betty Balch were the best parents you could imagine for their 5 children. Kind and fun-loving, so very encouraging and interested in our little lives. They were great role models, always willing to help out others. And my siblings have grown up to be kind and generous and active members of their communities. When I was growing up, I was a voracious reader, and I had my heroes that were very important to me and to the world. Unfortunately, many of them were killed. But one of my heroes who lived a long and very productive life was Albert Schweitzer. Albert Schweitzer was born in Germany in 1875. He became a distinguished and widely respected theologian, philosopher, and organist. Then, after all he had accomplished, he went back to the university and became a medical doctor. He founded a hospital at Lambaréné, Gabon, in Equatorial Africa, where he served the people there tirelessly and encouraged some of them to become nurses and doctors to continue his important work. He died at the age of 90 at his beloved hospital. Here are some of his words to live by. Success is not the key to happiness. Happiness is the key to success. If you love what you are doing, you will be successful. At times, our own light goes out and is rekindled by a spark from another person. Each of us has cause to think with deep gratitude of those who have lighted the flame within us. Never say there is nothing beautiful in the world anymore. There is always something to make you wonder, in the shape of a tree, the trembling of a leaf. Compassion, in which all ethics must take root, can only attain its full breadth and depth if it embraces all living creatures and does not limit itself to mankind. Seek always to do some good somewhere. Every man has to seek his own way to realize his true worth. You must give your time to your fellow man, for remember, you don't live in a world all of your own. Your brothers and sisters are here too. And my personal favorite is very simply, everyone can have his or her own Lamborghini. So, Liam and Finn, you might be the youngest ones here. I challenge you to find out more about Albert Schweitzer. He is someone you should really learn about. And for everyone here, you can have your own pursuits that you are passionate about. You can have your own Lamborghini. Thank you.
Thank you, Jane. In my closing remarks, I would just like to take a few moments to thank some of the people who helped tonight happen. First, I'd like to thank our business sponsors who were generous enough to help make tonight a success. The staff and the owners here at the Maple Tree for continually hosting our event every year. Chris Olson, who provided the cake that we had for dessert. Tony Stolaric, who designed the program. All of the committee members on the Citizen of the Year who helped put this together. Brian Utter, who helps with the AV and technical. And all of you, again, thank you for coming and helping make this event a success. Now I'd like to hand it off back to Pastor Kelly Schmidt, who's going to provide our benediction.
Once again, thank you for the invitation to be here. It's been just a wonderful celebration and such joy, and I've really enjoyed getting to know more about you, Jane. So thank you for the invitation to be here. So please join me in a closing prayer. God of grace, we thank you for the joy of celebrating Jane, and we thank you for bringing us here safely tonight and for the blessing of being together. We give you thanks for all those who helped plan and prepare for tonight's event. Please grant us safe travel home and bless us as our day comes to a close. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you all, and have a good night. We hope to see you next year.